let's continue. You want to have some outposts on Daymar and Walla? I think we already do, right? I mean, not necessarily the Derek outpost, but they already have the junkyards. So kind of like Derek almost, right? Anyway, looks like we have another segment as well. Oh, I did not expect that. 4.0 space stations. All right, well, let's talk about it right now. That's quite smart. Again, these are my live reactions. I haven't watched the episode yet, so I'm going to really react with live with what we're seeing here. You think this is Rune Station?
I'm working on the new rest stop stations that are going to be found in the Pyro system once we release that in the upcoming 4.0 patch.
All right, rest stops. Now, did it say rest stop or rest stops? Because I did, as far as I'm concerned, I think that there's only one active rest stop in the Pyro system, and the other ones are derelicts. So let's see what this is about.
Because these stations are lawless, there's going to be no like green zones to govern your behavior on the stations.
Yes. Oh, that means that inside everything goes, right? It's not like in Stanton where you can't pull a gun and shoot at people here. It's going to be, yes, as Axis says here in the chat here, it's going to be, you're going to be able to pull a gun and shoot on sight.
We're going over it just to make sure that the locations are fun for the backers to engage in combat.
It definitely looks very fun here. What is this? Looks like some kind of super villain laser weapons here.
Covering stuff like sniping spots,
sniping spots. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a troll fest. You know, griffers are gonna just gonna shoot on sight, no repercussion, you know, no consequences. It's free for all. You do what you want there. You go there at your own risk.
Balance against facing AI, you know, also identifying potential issues with the environment that might hinder the gameplay experience, such as potential issues with lighting and fog, potential bottlenecks and choke points in the station layout that might cause problems for players and end up getting bottlenecked.
Yeah, that's something that we don't want. It's something that we've seen, for example, in the Siege of Horizon, where players get stuck at different places because they know that all players are going to have to go to that place to go to another area, right? And so that's where you have, you know, little trolls or griefers just camping those positions and shooting everything on sight because they know that players have to go to that place. So maybe they want to have multiple entry or exit points to prevent that from happening and giving players alternatives to maybe avoid being shot by players who are just here to shoot at people, perhaps.
By another hostile group. We found some issues with some of the environmental puzzles currently. There's a bit of desync. If I was to disable, say, an electronic trap, it would not show up for the other player. So we've been working on getting some debugging.
That's obviously a problem, right? You want to be avoiding desync as well, because sometimes, you know, you think you're jumping over an edge and oh no, you're not jumping anymore because, you know, on your end it looks like you are, but on the server side it's not. So that's also something they want to be avoiding, I suppose.
The issue is, and they can rectify this before a wider release. There's a dramatic difference between these stations and the ones that are found in the Stanton system.
Obviously, since it's a lawless system.
Very dark and oppressive in nature and very run down. And they offer a lot more gameplay opportunities for players and also a lot more possibilities and overall experience that the current rest stops just are not capable to cater to.
That's awesome. You know, I like how they show the difference between the ones in Stanton and the ones in Pyro as well, with the same type of panels and the same type of furniture, but completely run down and broken. It's awesome. All right, see, they are looking for QA testers.
Quality assurance teams are an essential element of any video games development, and embedding them right there into the pits next to the designers, next to the artists, next to the programmers allows for a synchronicity of purpose and an acknowledgement of necessity that's been a hallmark of Star Citizen's development for years. And while technical teams can...
what are we looking at here? 3.18 racetracks. Okay, this is definitely... I mean, I would say that this is New Babbage, but the atmosphere seems very thin. Could this actually be Walla? I mean, look at the atmosphere here. This doesn't look like New Babbage, right? I mean, it doesn't look like Macrotech.
Continue
what are we
to
looking
put
at?
Alpha 318 through its paces ahead of its now scheduled December release. The delay from its original publish has provided a number of limited opportunities to content teams to afford them chances they might not otherwise have been able to utilize.
That's great, you know, if they have extra time because the game is being delayed, why not adding extra stuff at the same time? Absolutely. I think that this is a very good idea.
For members of the EU Sandbox 1 team, that means getting to continue an initiative.
There we go, there's Yella right there.
To research community-created racetracks in the Stanton system and find new ways to incorporate them officially into the very fabric of the persistent universe.
Now that's great. I think that this is a really good idea because obviously backers themselves are also very creative. Star Citizen is a sandbox game. Being a sandbox game, it gives opportunities to find new content to create on our own, and if CIG can cherry pick the best of what the community is doing and create official content out of that with their own tools that they have at their disposal, that's definitely a big win-win situation.
So the yellow racetrack was taken inspiration from one of the racetracks built by the community, which was the Grim Prospects racetrack on the Star Citizen Racing Discord, I believe. So there are.
So we're gonna have a racetrack around Yella,
We've taken, you know, direct copies of those tracks, but the yellow one is a little bit different because we've moved it slightly away from Grimhex into an adjacent asteroid field. So our designer in DE, Antoine Fauvel, he's taken you know, a course and he's made it for the players to play.
All right, so I think it's unfortunate. I think that they should have kept it around Grimhex because, you know, Grimhex has got this whole betting area with those big windows, you know, and the whole point of those windows is to see the racers race around Grimhex. That's the whole point. So if they take it away from Grimhex, then we can't see the action happening, and that's unfortunate.
I think it's just really nice to have more space POIs. We have, you know, attractions like Grimhex, but we need more in the surrounding vicinity.
That's true.
So, you know, it might be a case of where you're just flying through the asteroid ring in yellow, trying to get to the planet's surface, and you come across something like this.
Oh, that's very cool. So they've got those kinds of ancient mining facilities, and you can just zip through those, and that's going to be part of the racetrack.
Built up the structures with refinery modules and cargo modules. That
oh, very cool.
Before. So it's a nice point of interest, and also
so they're basically
cool,
using,
you know,
assets that they've had
natural
from previous, you know, cities and previous environment, putting them together, make a racetrack. It's very smart.
Formations of the rocks themselves, and also asteroid tethers and stuff like that that are already in the game. Those are our natural checkpoints for the race.
Cool.
I think it's really cool that we have.
Now,
a
I love this
that
here
we
going
can take
inside an
inspiration from
asteroid.
and build something of our own. As much as we play test, as much as we spend time in the engine, the players are the ones who are spending hours and hours refining their skills and thinking of new activities to do. So, for example, with the Grim Prospects racetrack, it was quite bare. You know, they were just racing around a pre-memorized route, going around all of these asteroids. But now we can really delineate that race, and, you know, we can art it up and make it look pretty as well, so people have more memorable moments to talk about.
That is a very nice touch, and it looks very nice. Now, I am not much of a racer myself. I prefer, you know, the pew-pews, the gun action. But it's true that sometimes, you know, in Star Citizen, development can take a longer period of time. And just like for us, you know, when time seems a little bit long and we've got nothing much to do because we've done everything, we get a little bit bored. Sometimes we find side activities. Racing can definitely be one of them. Sandbox activities, you know, creating something new out of what is existing in the game is definitely something that we eventually end up doing for some of us. And so it's the same for the developers too. What are they gonna do when they're waiting for persistent streaming and they can't do anything in the meantime? Why not also expanding on what's already existing? Why not working hands to hands or hands in hands with the player base and create something awesome out of what the players have created on their own with their own imagination? That is fantastic.
From Yela, named for the oldest of three siblings featured in the now classic 24th century children's morality tale A Gift for Baba, which you can read in its entirety on the robertspaceinterest.com website. Shout out to the narrative team. We move to Euterpe, named for the ancient Greek muse of music, the smallest and perhaps most barren of Microtech's 3 moons.
Oh, we're gonna have a racetrack
What
there.
I'm currently working on now is the racing track on Utopia. It's called Icebreaker. I believe it's actually from...
So that's what it was not. I thought it was Yela that we had a look at. No, it was not Yela. It was Utopia. Oh my gosh.
The community originally. And what we did is we took that...
Okay, very cool. So they actually have the same buildings that we have on Microtech, but on Utopia. I like that. I really wonder if those are going to be populated. If they are, it's not just a racetrack, but eventually one day it's going to be an outpost where, you know, we're going to be able to land and trade. That would be nice as well. You know, don't just make that for a racetrack. You know, get those buildings explorable too.
And we basically created, using the Microtech prefabs and assets, is we actually created like a little research facility base.
Awesome.
We've kept the path as close as we could to the initial community racetrack. But what we've done is we've added bits of flavour in from structures to fly past, structures to fly under.
Nice little canyons maybe
done
there.
A bit of a lighting pass to kind of help navigate the player around the space, but without feeling like the intention beforehand was meant to be for racing. It was meant to be this kind of large open front sea kind of facility with like long struts coming out and kind of good. There's good vantage points as well.
Nice.
Like,
so we got this little street, you know, or little area between buildings. There's the canyon as well. That's wonderfully done. And I love the fact that they are using some kind of outpost, town, a place that kind of looks like a town without being a big landing zone as well. So there's not going to be any fear of ramming into actual players who are doing their business but not really interested in racing. So here they're just giving that, you know, city atmosphere, cruising between building vibes without the danger of being in the landing zone as well. So that's also a very nice touch.
Little landing pad spots that where, you know, you could, you know, group up, get together, you could watch the, you know, your teammates flying around, you know, trying to beat one another kind of competitively. On Utopia, there's not actually tons of POIs. And I think, to be honest...
I love this guy. On Utopia, there's not tons of... No, there's nothing. There's buds growing, maybe. And maybe a drug life as well, too, but that's basically it, right? So it's great that they're adding, it's a great choice here, adding actual content to Utopia.
This new space, this new location is going to be one of the key locations on this menu.
Yeah, it's going to be a reason to go there, absolutely.
Now, these 2 new racetracks on Yila and Utopia make up only a third of the community creations being canonized in the upcoming Alpha 3.18. And we're going to be showcasing even more being created by our partners at Turbulent on tomorrow's Star Citizen Live.
All right, so
but before we leave the topic this week, here's a brief visual teaser of EU Sandbox 1's 3rd track this patch on the surface of ArcCorp on the outskirts of Area 18.
Oh my god, now that is quite a surprise. ArcCorp does need... So, hey, Generational Gaming, how's it going? ArcCorp does need some love indeed, so let's see what's... It's coming in 3.18 as well. That's awesome. On the outskirts of ArcCorp, so we should not be expecting to be going around high rises. I don't think so, right? Because if it's on the outskirts of Area 18, most of the high rises are on Area 18. Is it going to be around chimneys of factories, or is it going to be above some kind of suburban area as well? Well, let's see. Oh no, they do have some high rises as well. Looks like they will be racing, yeah, between buildings. Now that is going to be a tough one here. It's going to be technical. I can imagine there's going to be plenty of crashes here on the surface of those buildings. I love the fact that they got those arrows telling people where to go. Very cool indeed. Very cool indeed. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys, what do you guys think of racing? Do you race occasionally in Star Citizen? Sometimes I do take a Dragonfly and I race on the Snake Pit. I like to do that with gravelly vehicles. I don't know why I prefer to do that with a gravelly vehicle than just a racing ship. It's just fun, I think. But what do you guys think of racing? Well, again, as always, if you subscribe to the channel and answer the question, you can be in the chance to win a Crusader Spirit E1. You can also join our video sharing contest on Discord, where we got another Crusader Spirit E1 as well. And if you support the channel on Patreon or YouTube, you get automatic access. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This is everything that we had to say here here about the upcoming racetracks coming up with 3.18. I believe that some of those racetracks are also coming on Arena Commander as well. They did not say that, but it was mentioned in the monthly report. So sometimes you have some really interesting extra bits of information from the monthly report. Anyway, guys, that is all for Star Citizen.